that last play of regulation? Just kind of what happened on that sequence.
We try to run a couple screens, different angles. They played it pretty well, and then me and Juan was supposed to have a screen. I was trying to come up if there was nothing else open. He got open, made a great play down the lane. I'm sure he'd love to make that. This is a solid attack. That's the nature of the league. Like, ball bounce your way, here or there. In those situations, it covers up a pretty poor performance throughout the game. We want to win. We wanted to come up clutch down the end, down the stretch, and steal one really the way we played, but it didn't happen. So gotta make those adjustments for tomorrow.
I probably should have specified. I was actually the defensive possession right before that.
My mistake. We were trying to just play like kind of cover the 3-point line, and they had a weird kind of setup to start, and there's just a lot of space up there, and I looked at the ball for like 2 seconds. Jay Holiday made a good cut, and he made a shot. I know there's that conversation, should we have fouled and all that. I was just a step slow on that one, gave him, too wide open of a look. Trying to guard the inbounds, and I got caught looking.
Steph, you guys got off 42 threes, but did it feel like you got into much of a flow offensively, just with the ball movement that you're typically using to get good shots, good looks?
Yeah, 21 turnovers doesn't help, but I feel like for the majority of the game, most of the shots are pretty good looks. Sometimes there's a tendency for the way that the offensive game is going, the way your shooting goes, that it can affect discipline and energy on the defensive end, because your mind starts to wander a little bit in terms of trying to get your rhythm, sometimes you get hard on yourself because you're missing open shots, and that spills over to the other side. I feel like that was a little bit of what happened throughout the meat of the game, because I don't know. I honestly can't remember how we got 21 turnovers. I got to look at that in the film, but there were a lot of good open looks throughout the majority of the game. Just didn't go in, and then they took advantage of it, kept it close the whole time, and made enough plays on the stretch.
Steve said that he felt like the other team was more ready to play than you guys were, and he said that that's on him, and his quote was that it was my night to sneak it up, and he basically fell on a sword. What's your response to hearing him say that?
That's his character to assume responsibility. I think that's part of our culture. We all have a tendency to look at yourself, what you could have done differently. I'm doing the exact same thing. We obviously knew that they had a lot of guys out, and that can go, it's kind of the tale of two different ends. It can go where you're just dominating because you're more talented. They came out with nothing to lose, and we're playing really hard. Guys were super aggressive with their opportunity, and it showed. I think the beginning of the third quarter was very telling in terms of we gave up like 4 threes, I think, and that gave them life. Like, either the couple guys that have been around the league for a while or guys that are trying to make the league, that life and that belief that, hey, we were in this game, we can steal the game. That's what the NBA is about. So we didn't do a great job at all tonight of imposing our will and showing what we're about for 48 plus minutes.
I know nobody in the locker room likes to lose, but given the circumstances, is this tougher than most?
You're trying to put a string of good games together. Obviously, we know without Draymond, getting Klay back into his rhythm, you want to continue to win and keep good vibes around the team. And as much as you can. You're not, again, there's no panic. It's just the standard that we hold ourselves to, and what we've shown that we can do throughout the beginning of the season. You want to hold on to that as much as you can, because we made it look easy, but it's really hard to win games in this league. Like, it's really hard to do what we're trying to do. So embrace that. Again, show your resiliency, how we're going to show up tomorrow night. Do what we need to do to get a win. Yeah, it's a tough loss. Definitely one you want back.
You were upset, and it was like mid-fourth, I think about 5 minutes left. They had just gone on a 7-0 run. I think you were kind of getting after Gary and Andrew. Was that about a specific breakdown, or was that just more generally how you guys were playing?
Both. It was that's execution, like Coach talks about, or whatever his quote was, his night. Our execution on simple stuff that we know is our kind of bread and butter and plays that we run every time. We didn't execute well, so it was a dead possession where that's a very kind of pivotal part of the game where you can go on a run for 2-3 minutes, get the crowd into it, get a couple stops. We came down. I called a play. We didn't execute it well. Had an empty possession. I think they scored. We called timeout. And that's where us as players have to keep each other accountable to the little things that we can control. You can't control making or missing or making shots, but you can control execution, and kind of the sign of where we're at tonight.
Klay missed all 7 of his.
All right.